What's up, guys? Farooqi Bros here, back with another video. And today for you guys, we're not back with another video. We're back with the Build Different stream. That's what happens when you skip a week. But I was a little under the weather, so we're back at it now, and we're gonna cover the stories that we missed, but also the newest release this week, which is Marvel's Eternals. So I'm gonna do let's quickly discuss this movie, what we thought about it, but also I want to talk about the discourse, the Rotten Tomatoes discourse around this movie, which I find very interesting. So let's just jump right into it. Maybe I'll start with my thoughts on Eternals first. So number one, again, I know Umar's on camera, but he would have laughed at me because I'm going to say the same thing I always do, which is that you can find my full written review for Eternals on Rotten Tomatoes or on ComicBook Debate. So that's where you can read my full thoughts. But to give a quick synopsis of it, I felt like this movie had a few good things going for it, but overall, I did feel like it was almost a letdown from what the trailers were offering, which was kind of Marvel's first big cinematic movie, which is, quoting Martin Scorsese, it's cinema rather than a theme park ride. And that's kind of a lot of thinking going into this movie compared to the normal Marvel fanfare. And unfortunately, I think while there were strides that were taken, especially with this specific director, with some of these actors, to make it more like a cinema type of a movie, in the end, what we got was a mix of two worlds, a mix of Marvel's kind of tropes and a mix of Chloe Zhao's vision. And I think that kind of left a little bit of a it didn't mesh well for me. So personally speaking, like I ended up giving it, I was actually balancing the score 2.5 or 3. In the end, I actually did fall at 3, as whereas I wanted to make this movie. But overall, there's more good than bad, but it just didn't do it for me in terms of what it could have been. So because of that, I had to kind of be a little more lukewarm about it. But that's kind of what I feel about it. Zian, where did you stand on Eternals? And feel free to go into spoilers. I didn't, but it's going to be a spoiler talk.
Yeah, I think you hit on the main point, really, which was that the clash of styles, basically, because this obviously, though, I think there's an echo coming from Summer, but Chloe Zhao, she's coming in with her own specific style, and obviously she's providing her touch on the film. But as it's an MCU movie, it has to feel like an MCU movie. I think that's where most of its pitfalls were, where it was kind of clashing between, all right, you're going towards a serious, more a deeper tone for the film, but then you still have those same quips and stuff in a way that don't really mesh well. And in terms of visually, I feel like in the trailers, it did give off more of a vibrant visuals, where not overly colorful or anything like that, but it felt like this fell into the same old, almost cement cinematography that other MCU films have also suffered from. And I thought that was pretty disappointing as well, considering you have such great. I think the cast really was what carried this film more over the story or the script, especially. But I think just in terms of the clash between the tones and a lot of the writing issues, I think there was issues in the script as well, like the writing of the story. It wasn't really, it didn't feel streamlined really. And obviously there's lots of issues where, okay, you had your token one South Asian comedy relief, which was really not funny at all, the whole movie. But and then lots of other weird things, like at the end where that one guy, I forgot the character's name, but he's like, oh, I don't want to fight Icarus, so I'm not going to be in the last battle. And he's disappeared. They never showed him again. Why wasn't he in the fight? It logically didn't make any sense. And I don't know if it was kind of behind the scenes, something's wrong, but I don't know what was going on there. And then just you had generic CGI alien villain. He had no purpose in the movie really, other than to just kill some of the Eternals and take their powers. Otherwise, he was really a useless character whatsoever. That one big alien guy who learned to be smarter or whatever. So a lot of it was just very weak plot points. And I mean, even in terms of an MCU film, it's okay, some MCU films that really range from great to mid to bad. And it's this was really on the lower end of that, which is unfortunate because you have an Oscar director, what kind of style she's coming in with. But I think it just got hindered by her maybe having to mesh it into the wider MCU world and keep that consistent tone, which messed up her own film, or at least this film, for what it was trying to be. I think my score probably be either 2.5. I think it's growing worse as I keep thinking about it. But there were a lot of not to say everything was bad. I think once again the characters are really what carried it, and the actors who performed them. So seeing them again in the future is what's more exciting than this film itself, which was just to set them up.
Yeah, I probably co-sign on all those points that we felt very similar about. Am I still muted? Can you hear me? Yeah. You know why? It's because my mic isn't on. There you go. Yeah, my mic isn't on my Beats. Yeti, I mean. Can you hear me better now? I think I should be much better sound. All right, there you go. All right, so now that I'm actually on the right sound system, yeah, I agree with all your points and I co-sign them. But Samir, I mean, I gave you your props for Dune. You know, you said Dune was going to be the best movie of the year, and we kind of agreed, but we're like, let's see what happens. And then your prediction came true. But I got to hold your feet to the fire again because Eternals, which you also claim is going to be the dark horse for superhero movies, for at least for me and Zion, was not so. So how did you feel about the movie? And do you have any will you apologize for those predictions?
Yeah, I was pretty hyped up for it, for like a year since they showed the cast, but I think it was pretty disappointing to see how it turned out. I don't think it was all that bad. I think it was better than a lot of the Marvel movies, maybe like half of them, or not half of them. Like, I think I put it in my top 16 or something for all the MCU movies. But I don't think it was that bad.
It's like 30 top 16 is like right in the lower end.
Yeah. I think it lacked some of the writing, but from the trailers, it looked like it was going to be something good, and it was a letdown. I pulled the straws of Venom Dark Horse movies. The Venom's going to be the dark horse. I was like, okay, maybe Eternal is going to be the dark horse, but we both took the L on this one.
Well, I said that not Eternals. I said Venom 1 was going to be a dark horse when it came out. The second one, I never said it was going to be that great, and I was kind of right. But Umar, instead of asking about what you thought about the movie, I'm gonna segue into the Rotten Tomatoes score, because as it's Marvel's first Rotten movie, and we've had a lot of discussions, probably not in the stream era, but in the podcast era of Comic Book Debate, about Rotten Tomatoes and if it's a fair system or whatever the case might be. But Eternals came up with right now it's in like 49 or 50. It's in that 49, 50, 51 range, going up and down as more reviews get added on. So Umar, I don't know if you can hear me. I know you're in some technical difficulties, but if you do hear me, what do you think about Rotten Tomatoes as a whole, and the fact that it took Eternals to revive this conversation? It almost feels like 2016. So if you hear me, what do you think about that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so my thoughts are quite simple when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes score. I think that every time a movie comes out that people really love and it gets a bad score, then this conversation kind of comes up, especially if the fans are pretty divided. I think with Marvel, with the MCU, you have a case where the fans usually are expecting a home run, and sometimes you have for the most part they do hit home runs in terms of like Rotten Tomatoes scores, but I think with Eternals we're seeing how hard it is in terms of what was expected, cross with what we actually got. And so it goes back to the whole thing of like Rotten Tomatoes. It's a tough thing because like it doesn't really reflect the general population as much. I guess it more so guides the general population, where it'll give like the critics that are on there, no offense Raj, but they some of them are kind of dumb, and so they kind of try to guide their own little fan bases. And in this case, you have a bunch of people saying the movie's garbage, and you have a bunch of people saying the movie's okay, and you have a lot of people saying the movie's great, even though it's not. So the Rotten Tomatoes score to me was always this just goofy thing for fans. It would have been smart to just have them make their own choice. That's kind of what I think about.
Yeah, but Zack was shared at the class, but
Just the comments about Umar's situation are pretty funny.
Yeah. So I wait. Do you see?
No,
comments?
I don't see him on stream. I see on YouTube on the side. Yeah, showing up here for some reason.
Oh, okay. For some reason, you're noticing it's not showing up on our.
Yeah, it's not. It's not showing stream here.
I was thinking,
but it's showing up on the YouTube actual.
Oh, weird. So I can't display like comments.
I'll fix that later, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Let me just pull my iPad then right here so I can keep a look at the comments as well. Right. Is Umar on a plane?
You're echoing, bro.
So Umar, people in the chat think you're on a plane. I don't know. Are you on a plane right now?
I am. I'm in a type of plane, but it's driving on the ground.
You're making it much worse than it is. Just say you're in a car. But I'm in a type of plane. What? All right. Yeah. So, Zian, what do you think about the Rotten Tomatoes score? Do you think there's like, is this going to be the thing that calls for reform of Rotten Tomatoes, or is just, hey, this is just what it is? The movie wasn't that great, and the critics are not feeling it. Yeah, it's surprising, but that's the deal. So what do you?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think the whole Rotten Tomatoes discourse is stupid, but it is fun to see MCU fans finally knowing what it's like because, like Umar said, with such a long streak, you go in expecting, oh yeah, another MCU film is going to be beloved by the critics as usual, no surprise. So it was surprising to see that, okay, they're really going hard at this film. But really, I don't think it's that important. And I think now maybe some of those Marvel fans are starting to realize that Rotten Tomatoes, whether it's good, whether it's bad, it's just an arbitrary number. Really, it's just you watch it, you make your opinion, you know how you feel about the movie. But I think maybe that will finally be more prominent in the conversation of people realizing that, okay, it's just a number by a certain group of people who reviewed the film, and it just means whatever you want it to mean. Because before this, like, all right, they used to like tout the number. Oh yeah, look, DC fans, your movies are so bad, and MCU movies do so well. But now you kind of like you see the other side of the equation now, and you know that okay, it's really not a big deal. Some people come out of the Eternals thinking, yeah, critics are completely wrong about it. We love the movie. Personally, for us, I think they actually kind of hit it on the mark with their reviews. But then again, we've seen some of the reviews, like at least the tagline or the reviews they had on Rotten Tomatoes, and a lot of the problem is like some of these reviews are just bad. Like they don't know how to review films. I don't know how these critics are even on Rotten Tomatoes because these are very, very bad reviews. And it's like I can't think of some of the taglines, but it's like, how is this even real? It's like it's like you don't have real critics anymore. It's like the fans are on Rotten Tomatoes and they're reviewing the film. So it's like, how are they even getting these credentials to make the score and stuff like that? A lot of it's obviously, oh yeah, Marvel's DC first DC film, stuff like that. Like that is not real criticism. So it's like a lot of it's getting exposed rather than just the number. People are looking more closely that, okay, what are these critics actually saying? And now it's being shown that Rotten Tomatoes, sure, it means something to some, but in totality, it really is irrelevant. Like you go, you watch the movie, you make your decision of how you feel about it, and don't let a random critic or a random aggregate number make your decision for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that obviously there's a conflict of interest because I'm on Rotten Tomatoes as a critic, but I think that even from my vantage point, I do know that there is a flaw in aggregating any movie's worth or value to a single number, especially when the way those things are aggregated are very poor. So, for example, while the movie got a rotten score, the average score that people gave was around 6 or 7, but the Rotten Tomatoes score is like 49, which makes general audiences who don't know what the number means just think this number means how good the movie is on a scale to 0 to 100. And that's what most general audiences see it. Most people don't know aggregation and how is this, that, or what. They just know fresh or rotten. And in this case, it's rotten. But it's interesting to see like just the concept itself, like Rotten Tomatoes being this force of controversy, because in the big scheme of things, DC fans went through this 2 years ago with DC with BVS rather, and now Marvel's doing it.
That was like 5 years ago.
I know, but I'm saying
you said 2 years. You said 2 years ago.
Yeah, fine, 5 years ago. It's not my fault time has gone so fast. 5 years ago that happened, and now Eternals. It's just, I don't know. People in the comments are saying, Rotten Tomatoes lost credibility ages ago, and it's a flaw in every single system. So, and all that is 100% true. So it's just one of those things where, unfortunately, it won't change. It's just people have to know kind of the movie's worth and what it is. People will continue to use Rotten Tomatoes, and I remember if you watch, it's a different world, but sports TV. And I remember watching this one segment with Colin Coward, and I'm going off a tangent, but he was talking about films, and he was like, oh, when me and my wife watch a movie, we will only watch it if it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And this is someone who's a sports journalist who doesn't understand how the film industry works. And if he's saying it, think about how many general audience people think the same way, where it's only fresh or rotten. That's all that matters. So it's just interesting to think about. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's something that's kind of going to be here to stay. Though, before I jump to you, Samir, quickly, I'm just going to say that it is funny because even those who hate Rotten Tomatoes, we will use it to our advantage when it's for us. So I see a lot of DC fans who really were not happy with it during the BVS days, excited that the score is so down for Eternals. And likewise, people in Eternals the Marvel fans who always felt like every movie is guaranteed fresh, who took a lot of pleasure when a DC movie was kind of going down, are now like, oh my God, it's so unfair. In fact, I've even seen Variety which was very surprising, do a whole a whole segment about why it's only doing this way because a woman is directing it, when so many people there's so many female directors who've gotten hundreds and 90s. Even Chloe Zhao herself has gotten that much, but in past movies. So I don't know, it's a weird thing. But Samir, do you have any overall thoughts on this before we move on? Do you have any thoughts?
I think the score itself is okay. I'm fine with 48. I gave it a 3 out of 5, so it's not that far off. But I think it's not fair in the sense that so many Marvel movies should already be just as low or lower, or in that range. So I don't think this should be the only one that's that low. So I don't think it's fair in that sense. But they put Captain Marvel at 89, 90s or something.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah, that I definitely agree with. I think that it shouldn't be shocked because, like you said, there's so many films like Ant-Man and the Wasp, things like that, where these films deserve to be rotten. Those are just bad movies and just boring in every sense. So it's like this. It's a surprise that they finally went and made it rotten, and the score so low. But really, a lot of MCU movies deserve to be just as low, if not lower. Like Samir said, I agree with that.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Sorry again. The comments section is going to be kind of dead. I can't really display anything, so we're going to just keep going as it is. So I'm going to switch from Eternals and then jump into Dune, because Denis Villeneuve said he wants to adapt Dune Messiah after making Dune 2. So he said in his perfect world, he wants to make the full trilogy. And just this morning, a producer for Dune said they want to start filming July of 2022 before we heard the fall. Now they're trying to move up production for July. Obviously, the movie is due for 2023. But Umar, I don't know if you can hear me, but I have a quick question for you, because I know you recently watched the movie again. So I want to say that, you last time you gave it a 4.9, which we always have made fun of you for, because I go 4.5 at least, or go 5, but you picked 4.9. Are you still at 4.9 right now, or has it gone up or down after a second watch for you? If you can hear me. Well, the final Jeopardy clock is ticking, and he has not answered. So there he is.
It's gone.
Well, we tried. So he's like,
the funny thing is that he's probably talking right now. He doesn't know we can hear.
Definitely, yeah. That's the irony of all this. Samir, do you think Dune 2 will be the best movie of 2023?
The setup was so good. I don't even know what other movies are coming out in 2023.
I don't know either.
Yeah, but I think it'll definitely be up there when it does. To speak for Umar, because he's in some sort of plane or whatever he said.
Yeah,
it's
plane, boat, car.
A 5 out of 5 movie.
Right. I was giving him a natural out to say that last 0.1 that I gave for some shallow and pedantic reason, I will now move it to a 5. Or you could say it's down to 4.5, but unfortunately, he's in a plane or a car or a boat or a blimp or a hot air balloon. We don't know anymore. And we won't know what he's thinking. But personally, I do think that it's awesome that Villeneuve's doing both.
Can you hear me?
And yes, we can hear you, Umar. We can hear you. It's like trying to radio like SOS. Like, can you hear me, Umar? We lost him.
No, he's like lost in Jurassic Park or something.
Yeah. Umar, are you in Jurassic Park right now?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Why don't you text me?
Yeah, I was saying that I gave it a 4.9 because it was near perfect. The pacing was slow, so I took off 1 mark. I never gave a movie 5 anyways. When have I ever given a movie 5?
Many movies you've given 5.
Are you crazy?
Okay, you gave BVS 5. You gave Justice League 5. You gave Toy Story 5.
Yeah,
you
but
gave,
these are different. Listen. These are different level of filmmaking, especially Toy Story. Let's not play around. Let's not play games, you know.
All right, so it's still 4.9. You didn't go down to 4.5. You didn't go up to 5. It's 4.9.
Nah, it's 4.9. All I'm saying is the second time I watched it, the Paul is like literally smeared. It's the same person.
I was thinking the same thing. There's a lot of similarities between Paul and Samir.
He's even kind of dressed like him right now.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, they thought Samir was the Mahdi. He's just a little boy.
The Mahdi. But Samir, do you have any thoughts on it? Just sitting there, so he's perplexed. Umar, since we're on.
My Wi-Fi is cutting out.
His Wi-Fi is cutting out. All right, it's one of those days. Okay, so Umar, since I already have your attention, I don't know if you're still in. It's only rare that your internet's even connecting to us on the hot air balloon that you are, or a spaceship. I don't know. But the first trailer for Lightyear, which actually came out the week where we were off, received 83 million views in the first 24 hours. It's the second highest for any Pixar film teaser. On the chat, you were pretty high on this Lightyear movie, Umar. So do you still think it's going to be one of those? It's going to be a sick movie, and is it worthy of like the Toy Story universe? If you can hear me.
It's definitely worthy. I think it's gonna be really good. Honestly, like Chris Evans' voice, though, I don't know how I feel about it because I'm so used to the
He did say one word in the trailer.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't take a lot to like.
We don't know what he didn't say one word. Got it. Yeah.
He said at the end he's like to infinity.
Oh, he did. All right, he did. I have retracted my. I apologize.
Good. Yeah. And I'm actually in a spaceship right now. I'm traveling in his spaceship. But anyways,
right.
Buzz, like the shout out to Buzz, man. But I don't even know where I'm going with this. All I know is that yes, the movie's gonna be good.
Like cinematography, things look good. Like the way.
It looks nice. Yeah. It looks like a deep version. It looks pretty deep. Like it looks like they're gonna go pretty deep into what does it mean to be an astronaut? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some deep stuff.
All right.
It's like Interstellar, and then there's Lightyear.
Interstellar. Yeah, I think it's gonna be better than Interstellar. I agree. I'm joking. It was hyperbole. Zian, I'm gonna move to you because you tend to be a little hypercritical of anything. It's not Toy Story 1. So when it comes to Lightyear, the rest of us were pretty high on it. You kind of gave no answer. I was like trying to gauge if you liked it or not. So now's your time to go clean. Do you think Lightyear is number one, looks good, but number two, is it something like, this is going to be pretty good, like one of the better Pixar movies?
Yeah, I mean, I think it looked fine. I didn't think it was like so spectacular or something amazing. I mean, it isn't Toy Story because Toy Story is just as much as the journey rather than the characters themselves. So like Toy Story means a lot to us because that's what we had like since 1 like 20 plus years ago, then to 2, then to 3, you're following these characters on the journey. Yeah, this is Buzz Lightyear, but he's not that same character. He's like the real person or whatever. So yeah, I think story-wise, I think visually it looks great. The CGI is great. Story-wise, I think it will be a good movie, but it won't capture that feeling of, Toy Story. I don't think that's the case. But so I don't feel those kind of feelings. I don't feel that kind of like high from it that, okay, yeah, this is something that's going to recapture that. I think it's going to be good in its own right. I mean, Pixar, they rarely miss. I guess maybe Cars, which is one of the worst franchises, maybe that's the miss. But Pixar, they're always good. So I think Lightyear will be just as good as all the rest. I think yeah, I don't think they're gonna do a bad job. They almost never do a bad job. So I have no complaints about the trailer. Everything looked good, and I think it'll be fine. But it's not gonna be Toy Story.
Samir, you literally chagrined when Zion took a shot at Cars.
Cars
so
1 is so good. Okay, Cars 1 is top 5. Cars 1. Cars 2, maybe I'll give it to you because it's pretty bad. But Cars 3 was also not bad. It was okay. It was good. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't take anybody who likes Ice Age seriously. So, like, every other opinion you have on any of the film is invalid.
What are you talking about? Ice Age is a classic.
Ice Age is very good.
It was coming on TV the other day, right? And the graphics of Ice Age are like worse than a PS2 game. Like,
but
I forgot how bad it was. Like, you compare it to something like Shrek.
It's so
we're like, okay, even to this day, Shrek looks good, and that was a very well written movie. But Ice Age is just a bad movie, and it's so boring. Even then, it was boring when it was playing on TV.
Well,
I personally, back to Lightyear. I think that I think it's interesting because Toy Story 5, it's a little early for that to come out, if it's gonna Toy Story 5 is gonna happen. I think we're a little early from that, but I do think Toy Story as an IP, meaning the characters Woody, Buzz, etc., are so valuable that you can't not use them in one way, shape, or form. So I think it's a very good idea. Like, if you wanted to make a Toy Story movie without making a Toy Story 5 or doing a reboot or a new branch off of a new toy store, a story of a new toys, right? And you want to do the same characters, this is a very smart idea because now you open the world up that you can see maybe we'll get a Woody's Roundup movie or Woody the Cowboy or something. Maybe that's the next Western they're going to make. I don't know. They can do a lot of things now. If you make this, you open the floodgates. So I won't be surprised if we get a Woody Disney Plus series or something. I don't know. Like, anything's possible. Don't you want to know what happens? Like, we never know if he saved Jesse and Stinky Pete because the show got canceled.
Listen, we already had a Buzz Lightyear show. Like, how much more Buzz Lightyear do you need? I know that's like Buzz Lightyear best in the toy and this Buzz Lightyear the real guy or whatever. I don't know what's going on. Like, is this the guy who fights Zurg or is this just like a regular space guy? Like, what is the movie, you know?
I actually have the clip right here.
Get out of here. No! Go! We're partners! I said go!
3, 2, 1.
In my opinion, that's cinema.
That's like a 1.1 out of 5 movie.
It's literally better than Dune.
What?
It's literally better than Dune. I'm not even capping there. But yeah, cool. Samir, any thoughts on Lightyear? Is that the cat? Did I just see the cat walking?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Lightyear?
I thought it looks pretty good. That was my thoughts.
All right, good enough. What else do I have here?
I think for Dune 2, I want to say for Dune 2, I have a lot of rumors about his name is Barry Keoghan. He's like the guy who played Druig in Eternals. For one, I think he was the best character in Eternals. He was the most interesting character in my opinion. He was the one who actually like, all right, he's fighting against the system. You know, like he wanted to do his own thing. You know, I thought that was way better. And then he was the guy in Green Knight, obviously also, and from Dunkirk. So I think there's room by him being in Dune 2 as a character. I think that would be really good because he's a really good actor. So it's like they're just obviously the first one had a whole cast of great actors. So I think if they follow that up with 2 and add even more great actors, I think it's just gonna push the film even more forward than the first one.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to play like one of Paul's like biggest rivals, you know, in the movie. So maybe could be an interesting prospect. Morbius trailer dropped. Samir, do you have any thoughts on it? New Morbius dropped.
Well, everyone is confused about what universe it's in. Obviously,
I've seen the discourse around that.
Yeah, where they gave an example of how it could be in every universe. In the Tobey Maguire universe, in the Tom Holland, in the Andrew Garfield, and then he made 2 Venom references. So it's it's going to be interesting to see after Far From Home. It'll probably clear things up. I mean, wait, not Far From Home. No Way Home, right?
Yeah.
That'll probably clear things up. But the movie comes out in what? It comes out soon, right? Early
January.
January.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then No Way Home comes out in December. So it's like 1 month time. They'll have like 1 more month to market it properly.
The only problem is it's been delayed so many times that I don't think they're gonna actually like time it so something happens in No Way Home that's so big that Eternals has to respond. Not Eternals, Morbius has to respond to it because Morbius got delayed like 50 times already. So like it's supposed to come out like beginning of this year. But I do think that there's a little bit of confusion about what universe it is. I don't think maybe they don't even care, or maybe they do care and something going on. But obviously Mal Keaton's in the movie, so we know Vulture has some kind of a role. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's what. When it comes to this movie. But of course, No Way Home is the discussion that a lot of people are having. We obviously got a new still that I have here of Doc Ock and Spider-Man fighting. So obviously there's a lot going on, and we all know the elephant in the room. We all want to see Toby and Andrew, and the trailer is probably on the way. Most people are saying the trailer is going to drop with Ghostbusters, but a lot of people are saying it could be a surprise drop at some point, like for example an NFL game, things of that nature. I've heard those things as well.
That would be very weird place to market.
No, because think about it. There's no program in America that's more watched than an NFL game. Like a regular season NFL game is more watched than an NBA Finals game. So if you want to get the most eyes, you just drop it there. Like, I don't know, something like that. I'm going to quickly go through some of the comments. It's funny because on a day we have more comments is the day where I don't have access to put on the screen. But why is Canadian Wi-Fi so bad? Umar is not in Canada anymore. He's on a spaceship to Mars, so maybe it's over there. Is James Franco going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home? Probably not, especially because he's going through some allegations of his own, so I don't think they're going to be putting him into anything anytime soon. Most of Pixar movies are pretty great. Only a handful are meh. I agree with that. Ice Age is mid. So Zion agrees with Ice is a classic. So we have different Ice Age opinions. The Shrek games were lit. Please tell me what time the No Way Home poster is going to come. It was supposed to come today, and I think it is still coming today. It dropped while we're still talking, and it did not. So I was actually planning to use it for the thumbnail, so unfortunately didn't come out in time for the stream. But I do think it's going to come out sometime today. So hopefully today. No Way Home trailer release time, like we just said, most likely with Ghostbusters, which is coming out, I think, next week or the week. I don't know, the week after next week.
Yeah, the 19th, I think.
Yeah. So that's actually where. But think about Sony movie. Sony's gonna put their movies. People keep forgetting this is not a Marvel movie in terms of Disney. So people are saying, "Oh, it's gonna come out with Eternals." No, Sony's gonna want to market their movie next, and their movie is next movie is Ghostbusters. So that's where you should be expecting a trailer like Spider-Man. Please, why didn't trailer come today? I never said that. Okay, was Eternals too woke? That's not our discussion to have. How about the trailer for the Flash movie? Not anytime soon. Like not anytime soon will you be getting a Flash trailer. I think we gotta wait for the Batman at least. Morbius looks just as bad as Venom 1. It's kind of mid, but we have to see how it turns out in the end. The character designs for Morbius look pretty good. That is true. I think the CGI looks good. I think Zanny nodded also.
Yeah, I think the way they showed him doing his powers, I think it looked pretty cool. Like the CGI looked pretty well for like even a trailer. Like usually trailers think, oh yeah, CGI is gonna be weak, as we've seen before, but Morbius looked pretty good in terms of the CGI.
Yeah. Got it, bro. Go check their Insta. So I don't know. I doubt that they're. There's some people in the comments saying that No Way Home is doing something. Am I going to troll myself by even checking? Maybe I will. I feel like I ought to known that, though. Yeah, that was uneventful. Okay, so I overall, does Morbius looks mid? No, it's not necessarily mid. I think looks kind of like what Venom 1 and 2 look like. It's in the same very much that same world of movie. But
definitely more on Venom 1 side than Venom 2.
Yeah, more Venom 1 than Venom 2. I agree with that. Is Space Jam better than Eternals? Samir, I'll let you have it. I don't know.
Space Jam is so garbage. I hate Space Jam.
Zion, is Space Jam better than Eternals?
You know, I already was setting up my Letterboxd year list of the movies I've seen, and let me say Space Jam is like fighting for last place. It's right there.
How is it right there? When we watch movies like,
Yeah,
you know, yeah, I mean, none of us are muting each other. It's for me, Eternals is obviously not better than Space Jam because Space Jam is a 5 out of 5, best movie of the year, Oscar contention, best picture, best actor, best director, best score, best soundtrack, best CGI. I'm joking. Obviously, it was garbage. So yeah. Last topic.
You said 2 lies in a row.
You genuinely give it a 4 out of 5.
I lowered the score to 3. But I'm trying. Okay. Any more topics left? Yes, there's one last topic, and then we'll head out. All right. So Sofia Boutella has been cast for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon movie at Netflix. So this was obviously Rebel Moon is Zack's big next sci-fi project. He's been obviously taking a detour back into the zombie genre with the last 2 movies, Army of the Dead, which is his own, and then Army of Thieves, which he produced. So I think Rebel Moon, personally, I think is the next big project that I'm excited for Zack personally. The zombie genre has never been for me. I'm not a big of a horror guy either. So even though I love Zack's directing style, those movies just didn't do it for me too much personally. But I do think Rebel Moon is back to form. One of the descriptions for the movie is that it's basically Man of Steel on steroids. Zack himself said it. It's Man of Steel's Krypton sequence on steroids. So it's like take the Krypton sequence of that movie and that's the entirety of Rebel Moon. So we'll be interested to see Sofia Boutella. I think it's an interesting cast. So we'll see as more information comes up. Do you guys have any opinions on this, or did I hit all the things as my nose is running? Okay. I'm like chock full out of topics.
Is that all you had to say?
That's all I had to say. I have nothing else to say. I'm out of topics.
I'm gonna say that I disagree with Dion on the fact that I forget his name. Druig, I think his name was in Eternals. I don't think he was the best character. I think the one that could run fast was the best character.
The one that can run fast, but I also don't know their character's name.
Makari or something.
Yeah, she was interesting, but
She was interesting, but like story-wise, she really didn't do anything.
Yeah, but she was the best character still.
But like the other guy, like he fought back against the authority. Like that's like you like that kind of conflict. Like you like somebody who doesn't follow. You know.
The most controversial thing said on this stream was that number 1, Ice Age is bad, according to Zion. I disagree. Cars, I think it's a coin flip, but Ice Age is still good.
He's really lying to everybody. It's so bad. He knows himself, but he just can't admit it.
You got to rewatch Cars, bro.
Rewatch or first watch? But yeah, we'll rewatch.
What?
No, I've seen Cars 1.
You know, I can't say if I've seen it, you know, all the way through, but like I have bits and pieces that I can just put together in my head, like a puzzle.
What's the catchphrase? Like the chow?
Yeah, I do.
He's like, yeah.
Go watch it. It's so good. I can't believe you right now.
All right, but Eternals is probably worse from the 3 Marvel movies that came out. Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Eternals. I think Eternals on the bottom for me.
I think
I don't know. It's just as bad as Black Widow. They're both equally bad. You know,
I think Black Widow's worse.
Black Widow visually and CGI wise was way worse, but I don't know. Eternal's like boring at some points. You know, like the whole time they were in like the woods,
but you
like
love
after
boring.
they first met the character, like it was like so boring. I was falling asleep. It was like so dark, you know, like put some lighting in the scene.
Listen, every single scene where the guy was like, bro, the whole Bollywood stuff is
Charles
so
loves
cringe.
evil Superman trope, and Zion loves slow movies. So what are we talking about?
First of all, on the topic of evil Superman, what did Chloe Zhao just say on an interview? She said that she based Icarus off Zack Snyder's Superman.
Man of Steel. With Superman supposed to be a good guy.
She means like the aesthetic, like the heat vision and the flying, and I could see it, the stern look. Like I could see Icarus when I was watching. Like was Richard Madden who played him? When Icarus is on the screen, very much I was getting that Henry Cavill vibe. Like, oh yeah, looks stern, looks serious, and I don't know.
Yeah, and they mentioned Superman like so many times.
Yeah,
Dude,
Superman is mentioned like 3 times.
Yeah, they mentioned Alfred and Batman too.
Basically, we got more DC references. We got more DC references than Marvel references.
Listen, did he do Superman better than Henry Cavill?
I mean, I don't know. I'm probably not. But yeah, I was gonna say something, but now I completely forgot.
Yeah, the Bollywood scene.
Yeah, the Bollywood scene. My God, it is so bad. It was so bad.
It was like you said it was like 10 minutes long or something, but it was like a minute and a half.
Dude, they dropped.
The problem is that the cringe lasted throughout the movie. Like you couldn't get away from that scene. All I could think that scene was haunting me for the rest of the movie.
The stench did not leave. The stench of that scene did not leave. But I also think that not only was the scene cringe, that character, the cameraman, that was bad. It was bad. Every cameraman scene was bad. Okay, and if anyone defends it, hey, that ain't me. This is what this is.
You know, the he was the problem. The movie would have been so much better if he just never existed as a character. Like he was trying to like they used him just to insert jokes in like serious situations, and it just ruined the film. Really,
I guess
it was pretty easy. I guess, in my opinion, anything to do with the Bollywood stuff, it didn't land. It was just so bad. And the worst part is the cameraman trope. Shang-Chi kind of already did that, and they did it way better. So that's all I'm saying.
They did it. Yeah. They did the exact same thing.
Yeah, this copy, like you know what? That's why in my review, and this is the last point, and then we're really out of here. I wrote my review that it's like Chloe Zhao's movie. Somewhere in there, you could see her movie. It's there, and then there's the Marvel like stereotype coming on top, and then it's like all the tropes came in that moment, and just it personally pissed me off. But that's just me. All right, so what did you guys think about Eternals? Let us know in the comments below. Sorry it couldn't be a full comment stream, but StreamYard glitches. What can you do? What did I do? See, look at that. All right, so from myself, from Zayan, from Samir, and Umar, who's actually made it to Mars now, we're the Farooqi Bros.
I think he just got to Arrakis. He said
he shouldn't have smoked that. Now he's on Arrakis. From myself, from Zion, from Umar, and from Samir. We're the Farooqi Bros, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.